Game 3, 3-2 to the Tampa Bay Lightning. And this is one that the Rangers certainly had a chance to win. Tampa Bay was the better team, no question about it. But when you have a chance to put a team away, so to speak, not completely over, you got to take advantage of that opportunity. I feel like this was a missed opportunity. This feels somewhat similar to Game 1 against Carolina. Definitely different, but similar in the fact that I think that the Rangers definitely could have made things on themselves a lot easier by winning this one. And like I said, the Lightning deserved this win. But when you're up 2-0, midway through the game, you like to maybe win that game. And they didn't do it. And things can turn very quickly in a series. Like I said last episode, and why I was excited, but it wasn't, it was tempered excitement. Because, look, the Rangers were down 3-1 against Pittsburgh and came back. They were down 2-0 against Carolina and come back. It can be done to them. So this was definitely a tough result. There were a lot of penalties. I mean, it was a sloppy game, I felt. A lot of penalties. Jacob Trouba takes 3 penalties, 3 costly ones. We'll talk about them. I mean, he was a major, major reason for this, Ross. Not the only reason, but a major one, as he takes, a bunch of key penalties. And as important as Trouba is to this team, he makes a lot of mistakes and takes a lot of penalties at times. Don't get me wrong. If you lose Trouba, that's problematic. But at the same time, this was a really bad game for Trouba. Speaking on that similar sort of angle, the Rangers lost Ryan Strome to injury. And as much as I'm not the biggest Ryan Strome fan, you hope that he comes back. You really do. I mean, this happened earlier in the season where I remember he got hurt. And if I remember correctly, the Rangers did struggle a little bit while he was out. So as much as, Strome-Panarin combination I'm not a huge fan of, if Strome's out, now what happens? Now I guess you move good. Like the easiest solution, but I don't think this is a great one, is you move Goodrow up, play with Panarin and Kopp, and then Kevin Rooney slides into the fourth line. It makes the fourth line a little bit worse, and I just don't know if the Goodrow combination with Panarin and Kopp, who, speaking of Kopp, I thought was terrible today. Andrew Kopp, it's been a bit of a struggle for him. He just seems a bit slow and just not quite. His reaction speed just isn't quite there for me. But we'll see what happens. And look, kind of a factor in this is Braden Point is still out, but the more you lose, the more there's a chance that Braden Point returns in the series. Like, if you had won and made it 3-0, then the potential Strome injury is not a big deal. Braden Point coming back just may not happen. At the same time, I'm not surprised at all. It would have been, in some ways, too good to be true. But realistically, I just didn't think that we'd be up 3-0. It just sucks that they had a chance. You get sucked in. It's kind of like Game 1 Carolina, where I go into that Hurricane series not expecting a whole lot, but the way you lose hurts. And I feel like you might look at Game 3 as a major turning point in the series, specifically the Trouba penalty after 2-0. That not only is a turning point in the game, that might be a turning point in this series. So for me, the objective is still there to split at Tampa. That's the key. You want to come back 3-1. Never in my wildest dreams would I think that we would have swept. That was not going to happen. Game 4 now is very, very important. You don't want to go the Carolina route. In other words, let's just depend on home ice. Like, that's a risky game to play. So as far as this game is concerned, I thought the Rangers definitely played worse as it went along. Like, there were chances back and forth. Vasilevsky made good saves. Shesterkin made good saves early on. And the first penalty would be a Nikita Kucherov high-sticking penalty. He high-sticked Artemi Panarin. And the Rangers, it was not a good Ranger power play. They don't come through there. In that period, like I said, good saves on both ends. And it ends up scoreless, which at the time, I'm completely fine with that. On the road, tied after 1, I'm completely okay with that. Then the second period is when the penalties begin in a major, major way. And Tampa Bay was all over Shesterkin. And look, that's a smart game plan. I think most of it was called. But at the same time, the Rangers, it's not so much that it bothers Igor, but the team has to exert more energy in protecting him. And after the whistle stuff, I mean, Tampa really, threw the kitchen sink at the Rangers in this game. Tampa gave it everything that they had. So at 450, see, this was an example of really where Ross Colton and Ryan Lindgren both go off. Colton, to me, should have been the only one that should have been had a penalty here. So it's a 4-on-4, and then Mika Zibanejad takes an interference penalty. So it puts you in a tough 4-on-3 situation. But the Rangers were able to kill it off and even had an amazing chance. Barclay Goodrow on the penalty kill has a great opportunity. And I guess, by the way, at this point, Strome, I think already at this stage in the game gets hurt in the second period. I'm not sure exactly what the injury was. It might have been lower body, where he takes a cross-check from, I believe, Palat. I'm not 100% certain on that, but he took a cross-check, and it was awkward, and he eventually tries to come back on, but it doesn't work, and so Strome is out. But anyway, going back to the penalties, Goodrow has a great chance, goes off the post, no goal, but the Rangers do a good job of killing off that 4-on-3, and then before it's over, Corey Perry, it's called slashing, as I guess his stick went over Shesterkin's, like across Shesterkin's helmet. It's basically goal interference. And so there's 3-on-3 for a little bit, and eventually the Rangers get to a more traditional 5-on-4 power play, and they score. And it's Mika Zibanejad, who's just been tremendous. It's his 10th goal of the playoffs. It's an assist by Fox and Panarin. And Zibanejad is just amazing in that spot where it's like the Ovechkin one-timer, and he's basically unstoppable. So Mika makes it 1-0. And then Tampa takes another goal interference. This time it's literally goal interference. Riley Nash at 8:23. And just to keep in mind, Hedl took Strome's spot on the power play, and the Rangers score again on the power play. It's Chris Kreider, his 10th of the playoffs, from Zibanejad and Panarin at 9:44. So you're feeling good about things. The Rangers make it 2-0. And then things turn. Jacob Trouba inexplicably drops his stick. I don't know why. And then he interferes with Andre Palat at 10:09. So you can't even get to the 10-minute commercial break up 2-0. And so that hurts right there. And look, if you kill it off, it's no harm, no foul, but they don't. But they do score. And it's Nikita Kucherov gets the power play goal, his 6th of the playoffs, from Hedman and Stamkos at 10:50. And so that hurts right there. So you don't even have the 2-0 lead. You have it for 1 minute and 6 seconds. That's where the game turned for me. Right there is where you lost it. And maybe not a great goal by Shesterkin, but it's hard to blame him. What did he make? 48 saves. But Kucherov scores, makes it 2-1. And Stamkos, Kucherov, Hedman, all those guys really come through in a major, major way. So second period winds down, and it's 2-1 Rangers at this point. And you can't feel amazing about that lead, but the Rangers have been really good at protecting leads all season long, but this would be a situation where they would lose their second game of the season in regulation when leading after 2. The other time it happened to the Florida Panthers, and that was another situation where I believe they gave up an early third period goal. Well, that's what happens here, and it's a penalty by Jacob Trouba at 37 seconds. Out of all the Trouba penalties, this one might have been the most questionable. If I'm going to defend Trouba, the holding penalty on Sterling, they didn't have to call this one, but still, it's Trouba again, and it's a Stamkos power play goal, his 6th goal of the playoffs from Perry and Kucherov at 1:22. Nikita Kucherov was very much a factor in this game. He had 3 points. He was kind of just all over the ice, and right there, they tied up right away. And I thought that Tampa Bay, from then on, really dominated play in the third period. Frank Vetrano, who I didn't think had a very good game, certainly defensively, it's rough with Vetrano, takes a goalie interference penalty at 6:27, and the Rangers do kill that off. And here's the next big moment. Kucherov takes a double minor 4-minute power play as he high sticks Zibanejad at 10:56. And this is where the Rangers have an amazing power play, 4 minutes, you have to get it done. And I guess a minute and a half or so into it, maybe a little bit more than that, Jacob Trouba falls down and basically has to take down Killorn, otherwise it would have been a 2-on-1 chance. So Jacob Trouba at that point, it's like, he really cost the Rangers this game. It's not just him, but if there's one person to point to, it's Trouba. Because not only did those first two penalties he took lead to goals, this one prevented the Rangers from maybe winning the game on this 4-minute power play. The Rangers, nothing happens on the 4-on-4, and the Rangers had a little bit of time left in the power play, but eventually Tampa would strike at the very end with 42 seconds left. And Kreider took some blame after the game, which was a stand-up move. You know, Kreider, I know he gets the power play goal, but Kreider was a bit invisible and kind of not engaged. I didn't think Chris Kreider was very good. But anyway, Andre Palat scores the game-winning goal with 42 seconds left, his 6th of the playoffs from Kucherov and Hedman. And Tampa, Rangers don't score in the remainder of the game, and Tampa wins it 3-2. It's a tough one to take just because of the chance that the Rangers had. Look, are they in trouble? No, they're not in trouble. But this thing can turn very quickly. All of a sudden, you lose game 4. We're all squared up at 2 again, and Tampa did what they had to do at home ice. So if the Rangers can win game 4, then you're feeling very good about things going up 3-1. But this just stings for sure. And up 2-0, you had to kind of reel it in a bit. And Jacob Trouba takes penalties, and just Tampa Bay really, really took it to the Rangers. And that's what happened. So the Lightning win it 3-2. They outshot the Rangers 51-30. They were the better team 5-on-5, no question about it. I guess the good thing is the Lightning, I felt like, were significantly the better team, and the Rangers still hung in there. That's the thing. The Rangers have been getting kind of a time. Certain games they play really poorly, and yet they're always kind of in it. So I guess that's kind of a good sign, but we'll see what happens here. Ryan Strome injury status, we'll keep an eye on that. I am not overly optimistic that he will play in game 4. He might be back at some point, but I think that this is an injury that is something. And so it will be interesting to see where things head as we move to game 4. And it's a big one for the Rangers. Really, really big, pivotal game. You can take away the sting by winning game 4. The Rangers did not do that against Carolina, where they lost game 2 after the tough game 1 loss. I hope that it doesn't happen again here. The Rangers are now 0-6 in non-elimination road games. There's no question the Rangers are better at home. If you can somehow win a game at Tampa, you're in really good shape, and hopefully they can still do that in game 4. So again, the Rangers was a really tough one, 3-2. The Rangers are up 2-1 in the series as we head to game 4 at Tampa.